How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So on this video, we're going to be talking about an issue that just seems to take a huge uptick anytime the winter months roll around. So right around October, November till about March, April, May, we see a surge in a rodent damage that could be anything from like a small mouse to a squirrel to a raccoon, etc., etc. Fill in the blank, whatever may go in there, but mostly in this area. And we are pretty close to New York City and its surrounding areas. So not to pick on New York City alone, but New York City, Harlem, Bronx, Brooklyn, Jersey City, Union City, Patterson, Elizabeth, Hillsides, stuff of that nature. So if you live in one of these areas where they're very congested, not even in just the, tri-state area, but anywhere in the country or in the world even, there's a good possibility that rodents will find comfort and a food source in your engine bay or in your car, sometimes even. So we also see this problem in the summer months sporadically, but it seems to be more, again, consistent in the cold winter months. So if you live in a part of the world that it's consistently warm, you may not see so many cases of this. If you live in a part of the world where it's cold all the time, then maybe you see this all the time. If you're a technician and you see this, drop a comment down below. If you're a customer or consumer that had this happen to you, then drop a comment down below again and share your experiences that you've had, whether it be good or bad. Obviously, this is a cost out of pocket to you. So Honda or any other manufacturer is not going to cover rodent damage. But regardless, if you had a positive experience with your dealer or your mechanic or whatever, drop a comment down below anyway. So what exactly is going on and what can we do to try to mitigate this or prevent these situations? So most manufacturers nowadays use soy-based wiring, which is great for rodents. They like that type of stuff. And it's just the sheathing around the wire that's made out of soy for environmental reasons. So why do they choose 9 out of 10 times the engine bay, especially in the winter? Well, you just got home from work, your car is nice and warm, a lot of hiding spots in there, and these wires are against a food source for them. So they're gonna go in there, whether they're using these soy-based wires for food or they're in the way of getting to where they need to, they're going to chew on those wires. And sometimes it just opens a circuit. Sometimes it may cause a short circuit and damage a component possibly. Or if you're, you got lucky, maybe just had to repair that wire harness if there's room to repair it. So I made a video on how to repair these harnesses. I'm going to make sure I attach it to the description section down below if you wanted to go ahead and repair it yourself. There's plenty of ways to do it. There's different methods and stuff. You could buy used pigtails, you could solder, you could, crimp them, whatever. There's obviously better ways to doing it than others, but, sometimes you may want to one way versus another, whether it be cost or just out of, sheer necessity to get you moving along. So, so they do like these engine bays, especially again, in the summertime. So typically what we see at a Honda dealer is they love to pick on the 1.5T engines, and they have all their own issues. They do not need these rodents adding to those issues. But unfortunately, this is just another thing that adds to that laundry list of stuff kind of wrong, or that'll cost you as a 1.5T owner. So usually CMP sensor on the intake side, or that coil, it's coil number 4. They also like that. Sometimes you'll go to coil 3, 2, and 1 as well. But typically we see it in that area, sometimes a high pressure fuel pump as well, all in that general area. If you follow my channel, I've made plenty of shorts on this subject already. And again, I'm sure that I'm talking about this tomorrow. There'll be a car coming into my bay with rodent damage. So we're dipping into the 50s here overnight. So this is the beginning of the season for us. And sometimes we'll see 5 or 6 cars in a day. So, and it doesn't matter. Sometimes the car literally was just purchased the day before, comes in and has this issue. So that's just kind of what goes on here. Typically, that's what we see. I've also seen them chew steering rack harnesses on these, EPS vehicles, SRS harnesses, some of these sensors, throttle bodies, EGR valves on the older vehicles, the knock sensors. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And again, randomly, we'll see spots that we've never seen before, but it is a thing. So unfortunately, just something that the customer has to deal with and come out of pocket, or you could call your insurance, although a ton of people usually have a higher deductible than what we're charging for the service, and it just wouldn't make any sense, although that is an option for you. So what kind of attracts these rodents there, right? So besides soy-based wiring, some things that you could be doing to help you mitigate this or eliminate this. So if you live in a high traffic congested area, try to park away from garbage can, garbage dumpsters, and stuff like that. Obviously, rodents are going to be all over that area. So if you park your car next to it and they go dig something out from a trash bin, they're going to go and try to eat it or hide it inside of your nice and warm vehicle. So that's like the perfect recipe. It's almost like a 5-star hotel setup for them. So try to park away from a dumpster, whether it's where you live or where you work, whatever the case may be. That's like the number one rule to try to avoid this stuff. So if you park your car in a garage, then you have the option of adding some mice traps and stuff like that, or whatever is in that area, and make sure it's nicely sealed off. You don't have any holes. Mice could get in very small spots, as long as their spine could go through it. Usually they could go through holes as small as your pinky finger. So just keep that in mind. If you have any holes in your garage or your house, make sure you seal those up at that point. And then obviously set up some traps if you want. Something that Honda offers, which is nice, is their anti-rodent tape, which is just a spicy electrical tape. At the end of the day, that's essentially what it is. And it has some small mice on it. So very easy to pinpoint. It's obviously great with small mice on it. This is an open pack. And this is the part number if you wanted to go ahead and pick up a set for you. I can also sell you some if you want. It'll probably be the best price you can get, but obviously no pressure. You get it where you need to get it, your local Honda dealer or eBay, Amazon. They sell it all over the place. And if you know your area has, kind of, or is known for this, if you live again and park next to a dumpster or anything like that, try to stay away from there. But obviously in that area, there's still going to be activity. So you're going to want to apply this rodent tape to as much stuff as possible underneath your engine base specifically. So anywhere and everywhere you can get and remove connectors and plug them back in with, apply this rodent tape, go, thoroughly, don't leave any gaps, go to the connector and make sure there's absolutely no gaps and just try to be as thorough as possible. That would probably be the most efficient way, or one of the most efficient ways. Doesn't really look pretty or anything of that nature, but it is very effective. Now, I've seen to where they come back. Usually they'll nibble on it a little bit, and you'll see little teeth or little chew marks or whatever you want to call it. And they typically, don't bother it again. They are overwhelmed by the spiciness of the tape. So if I see that, then usually I'll go back and tape it up once again. And obviously clean up all the debris that they left behind. Usually, chicken bones, rice, whatever, banana peels. We see all sorts of stuff in there. So if it's a problem area like I'm talking about on these 1.5Ts, I usually double or sometimes triple it up. Again, it does not look pretty, but it is effective. So I'd rather be effective than have the customer get stuck out somewhere and, cost them even more money if they take it somewhere else. Now, some of these dealers will try to sell you a harness, although 9 out of 10 times these harnesses can be saved. And I have plenty of harnesses and pigtails and stuff like that for my accident cars, or when insurance companies replace the harness, and sometimes they don't even want to approve the tape, and the customer will have to come out of pocket to buy the tape, which is just ridiculous. If on the insurance's part, if you know that this is an issue, and why wouldn't you do something preventative about it? But that's for a different discussion. So they'll, pay to replace the harness instead of just a simple repair. And I save those pigtails for other customers that choose or opt to not use or go through the insurance. So they also sell all these mice repelling devices. Those are kind of controversial whether they work or not, so that's totally up to you. Do your research on those. Something that I do like using, and it's actually pleasing to us, is a peppermint oil. Now this isn't permanent, you do have to go back, you know, maybe once a week or something, but that smell is pleasing to most people. And if it comes through the cabin, then it won't be overwhelming or anything like that. It won't be something that smells bad to you. I mean, unless if you don't like peppermint oil, then that's what it is. And there's all different sorts of smells and stuff that you could add to your engine bay to kind of deter these rodents. My choices would be, obviously, watch where you park, apply the Honda rodent tape, especially if you see activity. Sometimes they'll leave food sources there and they haven't chewed any wires yet, so that's your first indicator. Have a habit of going under your hood once a week, especially in the winter months if you park one of these areas, and just take a look in there. If you see anything going on, obviously remove it, clean it, get yourself some tape and apply it immediately. Peppermint oil, obviously I'm a fan of it. I think it works great. It's overwhelming to them and not necessarily to us, which is something great. People say that paprika works as well, although that could kind of make a mess in my opinion. So I would choose the Honda rodent tape along with some peppermint oil or spray or something along those lines. So that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully this video is helpful to somebody out there. Be proactive. Don't wait for them to attack first. You be proactive. Make sure you get on the front side of this before it costs you hundreds, potentially thousands of dollars. So with that being said, catch you on the next one.